Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to my home studio, welcome to a completely new channel for the live stream. It has been done, it is necessary and messy and a problem. I hate changing things. I love change, I love moving forward, I love the whole Kaizen thing. I like making incremental changes and over time, and then everything is better in a year or two's time. I don't like having to make a change that affects the lives of hundreds, if not thousands of people. It's just annoying. But we're here and it is what it is. So what ended up happening was that we have 280 odd thousand subscribers on the main Crimson Guitars channel, and a relatively large portion of them couldn't give two hoots about live streams. They enjoy watching the guitar building videos, which is, hey, one of the reasons why I do this thing. And I'm not entirely sure if they are guitar builders or want to be guitar builders or just enjoy watching me make things. And there's a surprising number of people who do just enjoy watching me make things and, you know, other people make things. And that's absolutely fine. But what they did not like was this. And we are here to learn about guitar building. We are here for all of us to learn, myself included. Your questions send my mind in different directions that I wouldn't necessarily go in and influence me, which, you know, makes me happy. So anyway, the upshot was that every single time we did a live stream, and especially when we did a live stream that went wrong, we were losing a fair number of subscribers. And not only that, not every subscriber actually watches every single video. In fact, it's only like about 40% of videos are watched by people who are actually subscribed to the channel. And it was seriously damaging the YouTube channel. The reach of the videos, which is obviously the other reason why I do this, is to generate income for the company Crimson Guitars, and I suppose Vintage Tool Shop as well, and Great Guitar Builder and all that jazz. It's to promote those things while promoting guitar building. And if I'm actively damaging the YouTube channel by doing something, then I have to make a change. The thing is, people who are here on the Extras channel, you want everything. And that is where we're at. The Crimson Guitars Extras channel is the place for the live stream. It is the place for little tidbits. It is going to be the place for the memberships as well, the YouTube memberships. Now, this is one of the very first questions here. So Bob Hewitt has come in and said, I'm curious how the memberships will be handled, transferring everything over to this channel, or do we need to cancel our memberships and renew them on this channel? So there are two options, and I'm interested to see what you think. Option the first is we essentially, you can have a membership on either channel. I'm not at this point even certain if you can sign up as a member on this Extras channel. The back end of the Extras channel is surprisingly difficult for me to get into. Can you believe it? So I'm not sure if that's set up. Maybe one of you can try and tell me. Don't actually click the button if you don't want to, but if there's the join button, let me know. So it is relatively easy for us to upload or add the content onto both channels. So if you are already a member on the Crimson Guitars main channel and you want to stay as such, fine, no worries whatsoever. You will still get the content. We will also link it to a membership platform based on the Crimson Guitars Extras channel. I personally think that it would be a lot easier if everybody just moved over to the Extras channel, if that is possible, if we're able to at the moment. Some of these things depend, in order to enable some of these things, you need to have particular numbers of subscribers, etc. And I'm not sure if we've hit that. number yet. The other option is you just en masse move over to the Crimson Guitars Extras channel and do it that way. There is no way for me to, in the back end, transfer a membership over from a channel or combine the two channels together and smoosh them together and make a membership group. That isn't something that eBay that YouTube will allow me to do. It just is a problem, and this is the messy thing, the messiness of it that annoys me. But it is what it is, and we are here. So yeah, if you want to have your name come up as pretty colours and have all of the extra symbols and all of that jazz on the live streams, then yes, I would suggest you're going to have to move it over to the Extras channel when we have that up and running, and Talitha is going to be looking into this for me tomorrow. I have, just on a personal note, Talitha and I have pretty much burnt ourselves out, really, over the last 2 or 3 months, and that in as well as the whole, the world going insane and everything that we've been doing. She's been working till 2 a.m. most nights in order to get videos out, and we are going to be taking a short break after Nebula is finished to reassess and figure out how we can move forward on a slightly more human basis without killing ourselves. But it is what it is. So basically I will say watch this space. The live stream is going to be on this channel now permanently, Friday evenings and Sunday evenings as before. And hell, I may even throw in the odd random one just for fun at some point. I assume the super chat thing is still working and enabled on this channel. There are fewer of us watching because, hey, it's a smaller channel and people don't necessarily know this is happening. So we've got 66 people currently watching, and I'm happy with that. You guys are the true MVPs, as it were. Now, I have Bean McAllister says, awesome birthday gift. Apparently it's your birthday. Congratulations. It was my son's yesterday, one of them, and the other one like a couple of days ago. We have some questions. And of course, all of the membership stuff will be transferred to whichever channel, both channels, every channel, all channels. Let us do that. It's Willem 8 who sent a question saying, Ben, how's your day been? Today, not so bad. Not so bad. I woke up expecting to do accounts all day and realised that I hated that idea with a passion and didn't do any of that. So, I've been chilling with puppies and children, and it's been pretty good, to be honest. Bartissimo's come in via our Discord. Link should be in the description below. A question for the live stream. This morning I drove to the other end of the island, not as far as it sounds, to pick up an Epiphone Les Paul that was apparently beyond repair. It has no headstock, and the neck is split open, with the truss rod sticking through the crack. And the body has other signs of abuse. Would it make more sense to build a new neck and fretboard and restore it? Or perhaps reshape the body and build something unique? What would you do if you were me? There is a picture attached, and it actually looks worse than it sounds. So woohoo! I would. The instrument itself has little residual value. Even complete and fully functional is not a valuable guitar. I would use this as an opportunity to learn, basically. Now, you could potentially repair the neck, fill the bits with resin, etc., build it out with wood, turn it into a headless instrument. That could be done. You don't need a neck now, a headstock, do you? And that could be an interesting project. And I mean, frankly, you asked me what I would do. I would make a clickbaity as hell video. I bought a destroyed, utterly dead, broken headstock Epiphone and turned it into an amazing headless guitar with I don't know, name some obscene amount of money, and covered in rhinestones or something like that. So yeah, clickbaity. That could be fun. But you as a luthier, you as a repair person, what would you need to learn? What do you need to practice? Is it taking a standard neck or a kit neck or something from somewhere else and melding it into this one? Is it converting that Epiphone Les Paul? I think it's an Epiphone Les Paul. Yes, Epiphone Les Paul. Is it converting that into a baritone and making a completely new neck for that and creating a unique instrument? These things are all fun. So what gets you going? What excites you? And go for it. You could make a new neck. You could use a kit neck. You could try and rescue this one. It would be very difficult. Very, very difficult to make a new headstock for this, but possible. Anyhow, Van Shank Guitars has sent a $5 Canadian super chat, and the super chat works. So if you absolutely desperately need me to see your question, super chat is the way to do that. It means that I will see the question, and even if I miss it, my guys in the background, Max and Steve will let me know and take screenshots and send that through via the WhatsApp, so we can be absolutely sure. Speaking of which, I need to make them moderators. Bob Hewitt has also sent $5 US and said, super chats work, woohoo! Any news on the new Crimson Stains? I've been saying they're imminent for a long time. I have been told that they're even more imminent than I thought. So yeah, they are coming. Hold on. Add moderator. There we go. So Creverai and SC Guitars now are moderators for that. Okay. Turtum Carmen is in the house. Jeff's Guitars in the house. Spike's Guitar Garage is here. Hey everyone, hope you are well. Ben Tutum Carman who says, Ben, I hope Tom has been able to put my ideas across to you for the build. Yes, we've had a good old chat. I do feel that it's going to be more useful for us to sit down in person and work through that together. It always is, especially since you are coming. Heart of Oak. I wasn't sure if you were going to be here for this stream or Fridays. Did the Royal Post deliver the tea? The Royal Post. It did. It absolutely did. And my wife, as I was running down, there's a cat doing something funny over there, and I can't move the camera. As I was running down from the house to do this, she was like, aren't you supposed to be drinking a cup of tea on camera? And I was. There's a damned mosquito as well. Oh, I hate these things. Thank you very much for the tea. Canadian beautifulness. And it was very, very tasty and a much bigger packet of it than I thought. I did the first ones properly. I brewed it and put it in a proper teapot and waited a full 5 minutes for it to steep and all of that jazz, and it was absolutely divine. So thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate it. I took photographs of that whole process, and I think Talitha's going to try and work it into a what's on the bench or something. But you guys are amazing. You feed all of my bad habits, and I love you for it. So thank you very, very much. Okay, now. Spike via the Discord says, Ben, did you ever identify the tool I thought might be for light bulb changing? It's not even in the drawer I thought it was in. So that's a very, very strange thing. The closest guess I've come to for that is actually for putting dimples in the bottom of tankards and beer glasses and things like that. And that came from one of you guys, really. A glass blowing tool. It makes sense with what it is, what it looks like, and the evidence, the witness marks on the tool. So I think that's what we're at. But I'm not, until I see it in a book or show it to somebody who knows, I'm not going to call that one done, as it were. Bonehead Guitars via Discord again. Says, I got a question that everybody seems as clueless as I am about. The second guitar I ever owned is a Yamaha I still have. I can pinch harmonic all day long, but most of my builds aren't that way, and I have no idea what would affect that. I'm afraid I am everybody. I've never given pinch harmonics a thought, but on reflection and on the spot, I too have had guitars where that worked just so much easier than it did on others. Some that I've built, some that I've bought. So, well, interesting. I don't know. I have no clue. Okay, Ravencroft Guitars via Discord says, what is the best way to ship a guitar so A, it isn't damaged, and B, you aren't doubling your cost? And then Forklift Story has been added on either by Ravencroft Guitars, who might have heard the story, or by who's even sending me these? Creverai, I think. So we had two very delicate Robert Fripp signature models that we sent out many years ago now, and they were in Hiscox hard cases, which are phenomenal. They're rated for £500 each case, and that was wrapped in a metric shit ton of bubble wrap and a couple of cardboard boxes, proper. And unfortunately, somebody in a warehouse managed to drive, I assume, at full speed into the side of the case, and you could see where it had cracked, and it was at exactly the side where the sides of the guitar was, and it crushed both guitars. It crushed both guitars and did a huge amount of damage. They were on their way to Japan, came back, and in the end, I actually lost. We made it right, of course we did, but we lost the dealership with this guitar shop in Japan that I had big hopes for, because we, especially back then, just couldn't. It just took far too long, and it was a major blow, and it all started because of that. On top of that, the apprentice at the time who had dealt with the shipping had ignored his training and not ticked the tiny little button saying, "Would you like full insurance for this?" So they weren't even insured. It was an absolute nightmare. So, honestly, there is no way that is not going. There is no foolproof way that is not going to add a lot of weight and stroke or postage cost, basically. Probably both. I always feel it is safest to put it in a hard case that is in an actual purpose-made crate, i.e. Sort of 9mm at least plywood with probably 6mm plywood top and back, and you've got a hard case inside that is all protected. Maybe even go a little bit crazier than that. Or really a flight case is your absolute best bet. And what can you do? Joe Smijohn Jr. is shouting at me. He sent $5. I am sorry, Joe. He says, "Afternoon, Ben. You got my name wrong in What's on the Bench. And it is entirely your fault for having the name John at the end in your surname, because every time I'm reading or thinking about you, it's Joe Smijohn, and I often, as you've seen in the live streams, also say John Smijohn, because my brain just trips up. It's nothing personal. It is entirely me. I suck, and I'm sorry. Okay. Questions. Real KH is saying good evening in German. Neil Yelksin is in. He's coming in from South Africa. Tootum Carmen says, and I got to say, I absolutely love Tom's enthusiasm. It really came across in the phone call I had with him, and I'm looking forward to meeting him too. Tom also needs a holiday, actually. I think Talitha, Tom, and I all need to go and have a 10-day silent monastic retreat where we don't have to talk to anybody, do anything, or even speak. I think that would be hell. I think that would be hell for all of us. Yeah. I take it back. I take it back. But no, Tom is amazing. He was my first apprentice. He was my first apprentice. He was definitely my first business apprentice in the office. And if he wasn't my first apprentice, he was the second. And he's been with me right from when we started at Duck Farm, where Crimson Current Duck Farm. Ha! Carter's Barn Farm. Duck Farm was many years earlier. In the interview with Tom, I said, look, you want to study business, don't go to university. That would be a total waste of your time. Come and be my apprentice and run the office for me, and maybe one day you'll be the boss. He's now the boss. And absolutely amazing at it. But the best thing about Tom is that he has worked. He was working in the office and doing admin and all of that jazz. Then he went and he actually took over the tool making department and worked in it and learned how to make all of the tools that we make in-house, and really fell in love with making and building and creating. And then he became more, and he took over operations of the whole company, and he's now managing director and he runs the whole bang toot, and it's amazing. So yeah, I'm very glad that comes across in the when you talk to him. He's a stand-up bloke. Lisa says hello, Lisa. Welcome to the new channel. We have I need questions, guys. So Sharon Melford. Hello, Sharon says, has everybody had a good weekend? I have. Jeff's Guitar says Ben is the MVP. No, I just work here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys giving me the excuse. Seriously. So, there we go. SC Guitars is saying, although this stream will be more quiet with people not knowing about the movie yet, it will be more personal, and it's all the MVPs we know and love here. This is true. Robert R. comes in with waffles and sausage. That's actually quite tempting. Just an FYI, Ben, I found the tracking information on the package I sent you and sent it to Ricky, and he's supposed to check on it tomorrow. Fantastic. That is... there are so many issues in the world at the moment with regards to shipping and shipments and everything from shipping a huge container, which we don't have to do yet, but has affected us a little bit, to a letter going from the UK to the US. You just can't really tell if it's going to actually do what it should do. Before COVID, I could 9 times out of 10, as long as I was using the correct courier, I knew that what I sent would arrive. For example, in the US, within 2 to 3 days if I sent via DHL, or within 5 to 7 minimum with the cheapest Royal Mail International shipment. And nowadays, sometimes it gets there in 2 days, sometimes it gets there in 20, and thankfully that's not very common, but it's common enough that it's annoying. Garage Master Guitar says, Barber's Pole Guitar is under finish at last. I am looking forward to that. Finishing something with lots of end grain. I'm pretty sure that has lots of end grain. Is an absolute... it's fun. Alrighty, we have a Would You Rather from Rob Toothill. I love these. I love these, except every now and then there's a really difficult one and I hate it. But hi Ben, would you rather have your eyes attuned stuck playing Agadoo on repeat, or hand sand 50 spiky guitars in silence? I would hand sand 50 spiky guitars in silence. Just you mentioning that has not only screwed me over, because it's messed up with the 95 people currently watching this, because we've all got it going around in our head. You mean, horrible, ingenious, megalomaniacal bad guy. I'm impressed. What have you done? I really fancy making some spiky guitars. It's been a while. I mean, I did the 2020 Explorer style thing, but wait. So Stephen from SE Guitar says, "Oh, by the way, Ben, remember to make us mods again to ban the naughty, rude people." And Max and Creever, I replied and said, "I'm naughty and rude." Well, wait. Anyhow, okay. This is a question that Max has sent me via Zazafraz13, who asked this on the Discord channel, which is amazing. The Discord channel has, every time I pop in there, 80 to 100 odd people in there just talking about guitars and guitar building. It's brand new. It's incredible. There's 99 people currently watching this live stream. Woohoo! Okay. Zazafraz13 says, "I am seriously considering leaving my 8 to 5 job in the printing industry in favour for one that takes full advantage of my passion for woodworking. The prospect of self-employment looks daunting, but seems marginally more appealing than grinding away at a plateaued career path. What is a pitfall you avoided or fell into that might not immediately be apparent to an aspiring entrepreneur?" Okay, so Max, if you wouldn't mind replying to him and let him know that I did see this question and that it is in the live stream on this channel. It's episode 37. 98 concurrent viewers. Somebody went away? Come on. Don't break my heart like that. No. Okay. The prospect of self-employment looks daunting, but seems marginally more appealing than grinding away at a plateaued career path. Just that line, plateaued career path. If I did not have the ability to, the agency, if I did not have the agency to make material changes to my life, to at the very least possibly change my life with regards to what I do day to day. My everything that I do is about that. Everything I do is about saying, hey, do you need more money? Write a book, start a magazine. Do you want to start a magazine? Yeah, start a magazine. Do you want to promote guitar building around the world? Yes, I really do. Okay, start a YouTube channel. Charity? Social media? Social enterprise? Let's do that. I think that working in a job where I had outside influences stopping me from progressing would drive me batshit insane, and I 100% understand your feeling here. Now, you, however, are a lot more intelligent than I, and you say the prospect of self-employment looks daunting, and it really, really, really is. My advice to you would be, fine, start working towards something. Do not put all of your money into it. Do not quit your job immediately. I would say maybe try and get another job for more money from somewhere else that allows you to have more flexible working, because working 8 to 5, I mean, that doesn't leave you much time. So I would do those things. I would try and find another job, probably in the same industry. And this goes for a lot of people. Nowadays, it used to be the case that you started work with a company, you stayed with that company for 40 years, and you got a gold watch and retired, and it was great, and they looked after you, and you got your raises, and you were looked after, and all that jazz. Nowadays, most companies, and I'm glad to say that Crimson is not one of those, most companies won't give you a raise. They expect you to stick it out. And the only way to get a raise and to get the sort of promotion that you need really is to go and find it from another company. So I would look around. If you're not happy where you are, and if there is no progression available, look around. Try for something that will give you a little bit more time to put into your side business. Build up the side hustle and do those two things concurrently. if you have the time, if you make the time, if you have the energy, do that, and then eventually you will be able to go full time. But don't screw yourself over in the process by just stopping willy-nilly without something built. My tool shop is a perfect case in point. I bought a slide rule, essentially at a car boot sale for a quid, £1. And I thought, maybe somebody would like that on eBay. I didn't realize that nobody wanted slide rules whatsoever. However, this one had 2 slidey bits on it. Most of them just have 1. And the fact that it had 2 slidey bits on it, it turned out, meant that it was an artilleryman's slide rule, quite rare. And I sold it for 98 quid, 99 quid. I made nearly £100 in pure profit, really, by luck. And I thought, oh, that's quite nice. I know where I can buy more of these tools. I know a guy. And I've been collecting, and I'd run out, of apprentices to give tools to. And it just, I put them on eBay. And I ran that from home. And I listed 4 or 5 tools a day eventually. And I went out on the weekend. I bought 4 or 5 tools, cleaned them up, listed them all up. And I was selling 20, 30, 40 tools a week, with no overheads. Really nice profit on a lot of things. And then it was 10 things a day. Then it was 15 things a day. Then 20. Then staff. And my overheads went to... And we now have, I think, about 8,500 tools listed on the Vintage Tool Shop website, vintagetoolshop.com. They are also all on eBay. In fact, there's a major sale on the website itself, 15%, I think, off everything on the website if you want to go over, summer sale. And it's a business that has, I think 4 staff at the moment, and is not making me huge amounts of money, but it is turning over a surprising amount of money a month. It's amazing. Personally, I'm not benefiting from it that much, except for the fact that I get lots of tools. But anyway, so I would say do it slowly, start the business slowly, build it up, do the socials, do the research, build the customers, work on what you want while you have a job, and then go from there. Now, Mukesh Chanda has sent $5 and said, what inspired you to be a luthier? Okay, that is a very, very good question. I'm desperately trying not to launch into a Queen song. I was a poor boy. I was a very, very, very... I've never had spare money. I've never had anything spare until literally the last couple of years. Seriously. Up until very, very, very recently, everything I had got ploughed back into the company. Companies, really. And I couldn't afford the guitars I wanted. Period. I was a maker. I was a repairer. I knew that I wanted to be a creative. I was a creative. I am a creative, and I had to do something with that. And I thought for the longest time that I was going to be a musician. And then I realized that I'm literally not cut out for that. I can interact with you guys fine, but put me in a room with 20 people, and I'll be the guy in the corner. Unless they now know my YouTube channel and are going to come over and talk to me. But I'm not comfortable in crowds. I'm not comfortable being the social animal that one needs to be a successful professional musician. I just am not. I realized that. I also wasn't going to put in 8 or 10 hours a day practicing in order to be good enough. And I said, okay, fine. I'm going to build guitars. And I started building guitars that I wanted for myself, and then started selling them. And yeah, here we are. Joe has come back in. with another $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Joe. And he says, if you didn't have a fret slot ruler, what would you use to get accurate spacing without a template? I've done that. This is a very good question. I have done that many, many, many times. You can either go online and print out a sheet with just the numbers that you need. There are, on your phone now, there are fret slot calculators where you put in the scale length that you want, and it goes and it does that for you. And or you could even do the math yourself if you really want to. Or I have got books, the Martin Koch book, Building the Electric Guitar. That was one of my first guitar building books. That book has an Excel printout in it, basically, of common scale lengths. And I just take that and a good quality ruler, make sure you've got a good quality ruler, and then mark it out. Or even better, a good pair of calipers, available at vintagetoolshop.com, and do each fret and mark it out very, very carefully that way. Use a mechanical pencil and go for it, basically. And triple check your work. Okay, hold on. Divergent Guitars has come in, says, hi Ben. He sent a $5 super chat. Thank you very much. He says, hi Ben, I'm planning a 6-string baritone guitar for my next build. Any wisdom to impart regarding building baritones as opposed to 25.5-inch scale lengths? Honestly, there really is very, very, very little difference. Physically, it's a couple of inches longer. The body doesn't even need to be any bigger, really. Most baritones are just slightly larger guitars than usual. The necks are a little bit longer. Be aware of neck dive, but don't worry about it too much. The best sounding baritones I have ever played and owned, actually, have had properly custom pickups wound specifically knowing that they're baritones. Monty's in London, I think, did a set for me that was particularly good. And I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway, custom pickups by a picker maker who knows what the hell they're doing, and that's definitely a way to go. So yeah, it's all about that. Do not be afraid to play with your capacitors, with the value of potentiometers, etc., in order to dial in the sound. Okay, this is slightly embarrassing to me. Okay, so you know that I gave up control. You know that I gave up control of Crimson Guitars. Technically, I have a managing director who runs a company for me. I speak to that managing director. I tell them the direction I want. I tell them, the big decisions I'm involved in. But in general, I'm relatively hands-off. And that was much more the case a couple of years ago under the previous managing director. And that guy thought he knew everything about guitars and knew quite a bit. But he decided to not bother having different pots for the volume and the tone. Okay, linear versus logarithmic, etc. And that really, really, really does make a difference to the sound of the guitar. And for 2 or 3 years, all of our guitars shipped with, I'm not even sure which one it was now, come to think of it, but both had the same, I think, audio or non-audio taper pots. And the guitars didn't sound as good as they could. And this was coming from somebody who really does know guitar electronics, just lazy, I suppose. I didn't even know until a couple of months ago. I just use the pots I was given and be done. And what I'm saying is, be aware of what's happening, be aware of the electronics, and play with them to get the best sound. Use different capacitors, use different value capacitors, use different value potentiometers until it works absolutely as you expect, and go from there. So there we go. Joe has come back in with another $5 super chat and said the calipers don't give an accurate spacing. The measurements have to be from the nut, not fret to fret, to be accurate. According to my info, it depends on how accurate you are. So, yes, I have never used that method because essentially if you make an error, the error is compounded. So one, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 3, if you make a slight mistake here and then carry on, all of those are going to be out. If you use a good quality ruler and one is slightly off, that one is slightly off, you can go back and you can fix it before you cut the fret slots. So yes, you are correct, Joe. You want to avoid those compound errors, but if you're careful, it's not it is possible. Okay. Ravencroft Guitars has come back in with a $7 Canadian super chat. Thank you, dude. And he says, well, Ben, you've converted me. Oh, yes. I just ordered a Stanley 62 low-angle jack plane, 3.5 guitars in, and I finally joined the cult. Well done. You will receive your membership invoice in the post. I've always jokingly quoted the quote that said, if you want to really make money, start a religion. And if we could start a hand tool based religion, I would 100% be there. Sign me up. That would be excellent. The Stanley 62, fantastic, relatively heavy, very well made for the most part. When it arrives, most of them are 100% perfectly fine. So this is a Lee Nielsen version of the same plane. The sliding mouth is very, very useful, very good. But in the manufacturing process, sometimes with Stanley, where they drill through the casting of the plane, they do not clean out the blow through. What would you even call that? It has a name, and I've completely forgotten it now. And then they put that sliding section back in, and it's not quite perfectly flat. So just be aware that you might have to take that off and use a little chamfer tool to sort that out. But well done, you will not regret it. Fantastic tools and absolutely well worth having. Van Shank Guitars, oh yes, I remember hearing this. It says pickup height can affect pinch harmonics. There we go. So this is about an earlier question. Essentially, if your pickup is far too close to the strings or closer to the strings, the magnetic field inhibits the movement of the string and reduces your sustain and stuff like that, but also affects your pinch harmonics. So thank you very much, Van Shank Guitars, for telling us. That's excellent. George Feigl says maybe it's related to action/setup. I was thinking it could also be a nut slots that aren't particularly well cut, for example. But yeah, pickup height seems to me to be my most. Yeah, I think that is fantastic. John Morris says, question, hi Ben, have you ever come across a K Effector guitar? And if so, did the effects in it work? I have not, no. And I would be very surprised if the effects did work now, but most effects built in instruments of that age, there's a cat over that side doing something strange now too, are squirrel. A little bit of switch cleaner, and they're analog, so should actually be relatively easy to repair. It could be a fun, clickbaity-ish kind of a thing, actually. So yeah, I would say go for it. Huh. Okay. Corey's Guitar says, all hail the Saint Stanley 62 planer. I believe it. Oh, I need questions. I'm sorry. I am not running out of energy. We have 100 people watching and only 56 likes. Come on, guys. Okay. Klimo Custom Guitars, how's it going? How is it going? It says, hi Ben, I hope you're well. For Yeti, after last week, I've started on it with Crimson High Build Oil. I think I've got the front decent prior to buffing, etc., but may have gone too heavy on the back and it's a little rough. Do you recommend sanding back? Should I dilute and apply a final coat after sanding 400 through 1000, say? Much like a wipe-on poly final coat. That would work. I personally don't go all the way through 400 through 1000. I start by applying... I will apply the final coat. If I'm not happy with the finish, I will apply the final coat by rubbing it in with 1500 or even 2000 or 2500 wet and dry. It polishes, it knocks down the top, and forces finish into the grain and into the wood. And I think that's what I would do if I were you. SC Guitars has sent a £2 super chat and said, real question, where is the cricket? ? He lasted for about 3 days of constant chirping, and I'm hoping he's moved on and is safe. I rehomed the gecko, whose name is Mr. Pickle. He's a crested gecko. His vivarium had a crack in the bottom corner that started leaking, and we've basically bought him exactly the same vivarium, but no crack, and he's very happy. And last night I had a bunch of crickets that just would not. They refused. They got stuck in the feeding thing. So I said, all right, fine. You guys get to live. And I put them outside, and they're all free now as well. So actually, second cricket-based podcast. Real KH said €5.49. Thank you very much. And said, hi Ben, do you have a recommendation for small, fine metal files? Yes, I do, several. Special brand, working on my 4-string tremolo prototype, and my old files are all dull. Okay, so seriously, good files are worth their weight in gold, almost literally. Barco are a fantastic brand. Not only did Barco invent the modern, let's not hold it above my computer, adjustable spanner. That is the Barco 0671. They invented this type of tool. They're made in Sweden. They are incredible. Their files are beyond amazing. They're really, really good. Valorbe are also very good, although you can get counterfeit Valorbes in the past. We have bought Valorbe files in order to make our triangular crowning files out of them. We buy the files, we then grind them, put handles on them, etc. And we've actually been sold fakes in the past and had to send them back, which they're even selling fake files. But yeah, Barco, I would definitely go for that. Don't buy cheap generic files. They do not last anywhere near as long, and they just are not worth it. 210 Carmen says, Ben, is intonation any more difficult on a baritone build? Nope, not at all. It's just a case of moving it forward or backwards until it works. Yeah, no real difference. Okay, I've answered that. That's excellent. Creever is sending me, yeah, dude, that's hilarious. Question: Ben said, "Didn't you want me to make something more traditional?" And there's just a great big no. Not sure if you saw that, but anyway. Ivan was at a sent €5 and said, "Ben, not sure if it's the thing, but on the courses, is there anyone who can teach amp wiring / repair also? I'd be interested in that too, when I can come." We have... Okay, we are seriously looking into bringing in outside guest lecturers. Okay. Now, somebody who we have actually already started talking to is an electronics wizard with digital things and all sorts of stuff like that, and we'll be teaching effects pedal courses, for example. Come in, spend 5 days, make 3 or 4 effects pedals from scratch, and that would be incredible fun. Amp kits, we're thinking about putting together amp kits which people can come to Crimson and build under our tutelage, and you'll not only have a pretty case, amp case, yeah, something like that. Maybe even sacrilege, use flame maple, something like that. But you would end up wiring it yourself, and it would be great fun. Moving on, amp repair, that is a much, much more difficult beast. That is... Wiring is easy, you know what you've got, and it's there, you've got the components, you've got the right soldering iron, you've got a nice space with good lighting and all that, and in a certain amount of time you'll be able to do it, even if you've never held a soldering iron in your life. No worries whatsoever. Having a broken amplifier and figuring out what's wrong with it, that takes a certain type of individual and can sometimes take, it's not easy. So repair, I don't think will ever happen necessarily, but building them, yeah, 100%. I'm already talking to a guy. I know a guy. That was a bad accent. Hold on, I saw the word cupcakes. Cupcakes. Ravencroft Guitar says, "Cupcakes! Hey Ben, I put this in the Discord, but not sure if you answered it. Any tips on shipping guitars?" I've already answered that, dude, earlier on in the stream. So, yeah, go back, but, yeah, be careful. And just pay excess, unfortunately. Heart of Oak, I will always know who you are now. You sent me a present of some fantastic Canadian tea. Very delicate and a very delicate and different taste to the sort of usual UK stuff, which is, yeah, beautiful. He says, "How about having to adjust the grooves in the nut for a baritone's thicker strings? We are building a Strat body with a baritone neck." Okay, so you will just need to use either the standard very expensive nut slotting files, which, I mean, they're expensive for a reason. They're very good and will last you a lifetime. Or there are other options. One is to, if it is a one-off, take a smaller gauge string or a bit of saw blade or something that is smaller and wrap a thin piece of wet and dry paper, relatively coarse, around that, and then run that in the slot to make it bigger. Needle files do not work, and the reason why they don't work is because they're almost all tapered, and you will have, and it's just not going to give you an even slot, and that it's not ideal. There are other things. There's a little tool, Solders and Nut Slotting File, kind of a tool that's actually a nozzle cleaner for welding machines, I think. They're not any good. They really are not any good, but you might be able to use one to widen out an existing slot. But yeah, I would say if you're going to do this, more than a few times, then just you're going to have to, even by the budget fret slotting, nut slotting files, it will be worth it. Okie dokie. Rob Tootle says ham and mustard sandwiches. man after my own heart. Bolt-on necks are usually held with 4 M5, M6 bolts. If you've got actual bolts, yeah, M4 or M5, I would say, really. But he says, would 2 M8 bolts aligned along the centre line be suitable? They would be strong enough, yes. Emphatically, absolutely, no problems whatsoever. I've got a check in the back of my mind, and I'm not entirely sure why. It might be to do with the alignment, maybe. You would have to be absolutely certain, but then when you're putting in 3, you have to be absolutely certain. So, yeah, I think that would absolutely work. Go for it. It would definitely be strong enough. Lepidoptera Lady, how are you doing? Says, thoughts on food-safe guitar finishes. Almost every finish is actually food-safe, to be honest. And once it is cured and done, it's there. It's food-safe. So a water-based guitar finishing oil. I don't think that's food-safe. Oh, okay. One of the finishes that we sell at Crimson actually is food-safe. I'm not entirely sure which one off the top of my head. I am now a little bit tired. Back to 99 concurrent viewers. There isn't any reason not to. I also can't really think of any reasons to use a food-safe finish, unless you're talking about the ecological issues that comes with almost every single finish and glue and material, unfortunately, under the sun. So yes, I mean, if I could use nothing but utterly friendly, eco-friendly, safe, water-based, etc. finishes, if I could use nothing but natural finishes on my guitars entirely, and it be as durable, sound as good, and as we're running a business here, and a lot of you are too, you can't afford to spend 3 weeks doing a finish. You have to get something that's quick and easy in order to make it economical and viable as a business. So if you're building for yourself, yeah, go for it. Spend those 3 weeks. That's absolutely fine and laudable, actually. To do it as a business is much, much more problematic, in my opinion. Alrighty. 101 viewers, 77 likes. That's actually not bad. Paul Burt is coming with apple crumble and custard. What difference does the actual size of the pots make? Not the resistance, but the diameter. Technically, if you've got a smaller diameter, I'm trying to imagine the way that the slider works and how that turns. I don't think there's actually any difference whatsoever, period. I really don't. I mean, the taper of the strip inside makes a difference, the materials, the quality, but I don't think the size actually makes any material difference. Definitely not to the sound. Maybe you'll be able to turn it a split second faster from 0 to full, maybe. But I don't know. Robert R says, have you sharpened the new chisels? I have not, and I feel actually quite naughty. I was hardly in my workshop at all last week. and I'm really actually feeling the issue. I came in on Thursday, and this piece of wood that my computer is sitting on for the live stream was still here. In fact, I think it is still here. I haven't used my workbench in over a week. I've been at Crimson every single day. We've been working, we've been doing stuff. We've got a new social media girl started who's doing some stuff, and she's fantastic and needed some training. We've had meetings and talks and Great Guitar Build Off. And did you see the announcements? Well, the live stream wasn't very good, but the winners and the top tens, the top fives in each. Just so cool. But anyway, here we go. I digress. I need to sharpen them, and I will. Next week. Lisa says, I have a block of mahogany. Would it be okay to have a fretboard made of the same material as the neck, please? Yes, absolutely. I think that would be fine. And have you found yet a bright red Kayla or Floyd Rose you were after? I very, very much like the look of that guitar that you're working on at the moment. Yes. Okay. So mahogany is difficult. There are different varieties of the tree. It's not all just one species. It's a sort of a genre. Anyway, it's broad. You can get very soft mahogany. You can get very, very hard mahoganies. Sapedi is really hard stuff, and you can make a fantastic Sapedi fretboard that is every bit as stable and solid and strong as rosewood or ebony or anything like that. So yeah, no reason whatsoever to not use a mahogany fretboard on a mahogany neck, etc. Fender have been making necks with integral fretboards forever. Go for it. Yeah. Lindworm Guitars, how you doing? 100% natural tongue oil. Safe once it's cured. 100% natural tongue oil is one of the things that I was going to suggest. Actually, in fact, it's something that we want to set at Crimson for this purpose, not because it's food safe, but because it is natural, and it's a great finish. So, yep, that's one of them. The other is shellac. It depends on what you've mixed it in, but the shellac portion of it is natural, so worth doing. Mark Ellis, hi Ben. My current project has an oak body, and I'm going to finish it with melamine lacquer. But am I okay to grain fill with finishing oil and fine sanding, buffing oil off across the grain first? Thank you. Okie dokie. I've done that. I've done that before. I think so. Please run a test. You need to absolutely make certain, 100% certain, that the underlying coats of grain fill have cured. Nothing's going to come through to cause any trouble. You need to leave probably 4 or 5 days minimum, and sand it back properly before you then move on to the melamine. But yes, I think that you should be absolutely fine. And I think melamine is food safe as well. Guitar Addicts Workshop has joined us. He says, a little late, but I made it. Hey everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sparks Guitar Garage, talking about wood. Robert R says, we'll forgive you, you do need a break. I would like a break. Ivan Wizard says, Sharpie, Sharpie, talking about my chisels. Of course. Lisa says, if it's got a longer distance to turn, then you may get finer control. That's kind of what I was thinking, but you're talking about the difference. A mini pot and a large pot, there's only a 4 or 5 mil difference. It's not massive. It is not massive. Ooh, Ivan Wizard said, I got myself a Tormac T8 like a month ago. Have been doing too many other things, and now I think I only have one plane and one chisel left that are sharp at the moment. Tormac makes some fantastic tools. They really, really, really do. And I am well aware of having tools sitting in a corner looking at you saying, hey, you got me for a reason. Use me, goddarn it. Use me. I've got these right here, right to hand. I've got these gunstock checkering tools. I hardly ever pay full price for tools. I don't. I have the YouTube channel and sponsors and things like that a lot of the time, and I'm incredibly lucky to have that. But I also have a tool shop. I have trade accounts through Crimson where I can buy stuff at, less than retail price. I've got tools coming in on a daily basis. We list 70 to 80 tools a day, and only about half of what we get in is actually worth listing. So, huge amounts of tools. I paid full price for those well over a year ago, and I haven't used them yet. At least not properly. I think I did a plectrum, didn't I? Anyhow, is what it is. Questions. Do you know of any commercially available dies for rolling fret wire from raw material like a Damascus billet? I do not, sir. Not at all. It's something that I've considered in the past. Who is it? The funny fret wire company, the guys who make the curved ones. True Temperament, there we go. They cast theirs. It's not a die. It's they pour the metal into it and cast it. Okay, so here's a question from James at Riley Custom Guitars, who says he's having an issue accessing live chat, which is it doesn't appear to be an issue for most people, but please let me know if there are any technical issues. It says, Ben, since multi-scale instruments have the bridge and nut at opposing angles, wouldn't the highest pitch string require a steeper break angle, albeit slightly, than the lowest due to the extra length? If you have an extreme difference in scale, would you go with the highest break angle and hope your bridge has enough adjustment for the higher strings, or would you go to the lowest angle and possibly put a shim or carve an angle into the body for the bridge to sit on? So you are talking about minimal differences here that in reality you won't notice. The guitar strings are engineered. The thickness, the material, the thickness of the string, width of the string, the thickness of the string, and the material of the string, how many winds there are on it, etc., all affect the feel that string has under tension. There is a company, and I can't remember who it is. Maybe somebody in the chat here knows who I'm talking about. Who actually have designed a set of strings that are perfectly matched tension, and then, as you say, moving the tuners, for example, a little bit further away or whatever to have a different headstock makes a difference to it. So I don't think that you'll feel the difference in what you're describing here, and I don't think that you need to give it any serious thought. The string will do what it's going to do, and it's going to be fine. And if it's not, then slightly customize the gauge of the string rather than massively customize the guitar itself. So if you're used to playing 10s like I am, and you've got a much longer scale length on that side and the tension feels wrong, change it up to an 11 or down to a 9 and see how that affects things. That will be much, much more viable, in my opinion. It's an interesting thing to think about, absolutely, and is valid, but not as, yeah, it won't have as much of an effect as you think, I think. Bill Coleman has sent a $5 super chat and said, I've missed a few chats and caught replays. Thank you very much. The replays are all going to be on Crimson Guitars Extras. They're currently private or for members only, which is essentially the same thing, on the main channel, but they are moving over to Crimson Guitars Extras. I need to have a member of staff download them all and then re-upload them onto the channel. And there's 36 of them to do, so that will take a little while, but it'll be in progress tomorrow. He says, I caught replays. Please don't let a few naysayers swing your resolve. I love watching builds, but love listening to you live the same. Thank you very much. I think that this is the format. Basically, I will put posts out on the main channel. I wonder how many of you are here because you saw an Instagram story or post, or I did a story on the Crimson Guitars main channel as well, just saying, hey, the live stream is over on Extras with a link. Let me know if that affected you and worked. But yeah, it's not the naysayers. It's literally when you go back into the analytics, if a single live stream loses me 24 subscribers and only 40% or so of the people who watch the videos are actually subscribed, chances are I've alienated 50 whole people, and I don't want to alienate 50 people twice a week forever. That's a lot of people, and I want everybody to be watching the channel and gaining what they want out of it. And if it means I have to have 2 channels, we'd already set this up. So anyway, Real KH says, will Crimson have a really pink / magenta stain? I need some for the FUCK ukulele, because what is more heavy metal than a pink finish? Yes is the answer. Wow. Somebody's stolen my pink stain, and I actually have an issue with this because I love that stuff. Yeah, no, it's not there. Wow. Well, that needs to be sorted out. So we have pink stain, absolutely. We have also so we had a Crimson Work barbecue thing because we had Laura from Broken Wind down last week, and we decided to have a barbecue and some beers and stuff, and it was great. But while we were out in the barbecue, Josh kept on pulling out and said, "Oh, Ben, do you want to see the new flip-flop I've got?" Which is amazing. "Well, Ben, do you want to see the new bright pink paint I've just bought?" And some amazingly pink paint came in. So if you want a professional finish on it, give us a shout and we'll spray it for you. But okay. But yeah, the pink stain, I think it's a pink spirit-based stain, is mind-blowingly cool. Ivan Wizard has come in with €10. Thank you very much. Ivan, I really do appreciate it. I assume your first name is Ivan. Anyhow, he says, and I'm jealous, by the way, so I have some delicious bog oak logs. You said before that they would do as stabilised fretboards. Would you try to go quarter sawn or just try to get the best yield? I'll have to hand saw though. Slow pain. Bring them over to Crimson. I'll charge you 20% of the wood to use my bandsaws, and you'll get to tow Crimson at the same time. Fair? I'm trying to teach my children about tax. So every time they have an ice cream, it's like, hey children, just remember, 20% belongs to the proprietor, the government. And they say, you mean you, don't you, Daddy? I said, yes, I mean me. I'm teaching you a lesson, child. And they're like, Daddy? And then they run off. It doesn't work. Yes, I allow my children to give me the finger. It amuses me greatly. Okay, so I would go for the best yield. Quarter sawn wood is slightly stronger, but unnecessary, and it also slab sawn oak is more attractive than quarter sawn. So oak, in my opinion, you also use the magic word stabilized fretboards. So you're going to be stabilizing it, I assume, in something like cactus juice or resin, or maybe thin CA glue, super glue. If you're going to use super glue, I heartily recommend Starbond. I've used much super glue, and that is my favorite. So yeah, stabilized makes it doubly up to you. Greatest yield for sure. And take your time if you're hand cutting. It doesn't sound like fun. Okie dokie. Ben, crimson, wipe on poly on a maple fretboard, fret before or after. Always fret before whatever finish you're going to be putting on a fretboard. Thinking fret after because of all the flattening of the finish by hand. No, because essentially the act of putting the frets in will mess up any finish. Leveling the frets, especially with a maple fretboard, not fun. Not fun at all. So no, it's easy. It's absolutely easy. Rubbing down in between frets and stuff. Hell, it's just par for the course. But yeah, if you are going to fret afterwards, then you're going to have to protect the fret slots from the finish. You don't want finish to get in there to then stop your glue from filling things and holding the frets. And there's just many more things that will go wrong if you fret after you have tried to finish a fretboard. And I have done this before. I used to oil my fretboards. I used to apply the oil, rub it in with very fine wet and dry paper, build it up to a perfect finish. I think I was using Danish oil or tung oil. This is 20 odd years ago now. And then I would have to wait a month before I could even use the fretboard. It just was not ideal. Creever is posting about our Discord server. Please check that out. The link is in the description. And in his question there, we're still hovering at exactly 100 concurrent viewers. That's incredible. So there we go. What can you do? Spike's Guitar Garage says, being retired, I make gold equipment videos as a hobby business and dollars. Then Frugal Fixer is just me. If I make guitars on dollars, guitars great. So do. Okay. Ivan Wizard says, bog oak. I mean, 20% isn't bad, given I can get my hands on about 30 more at very good. So I'll hop on a ferry. Bring it on. Like, seriously. Hop on a ferry. And you book before so that we know you're coming, It's important. And then I'll know I'll be there, etc. But in all seriousness, we have machines, we have the capacity. We often have times when those machines are empty. And if you're willing to have a little bit of training and sign a health and safety agreement, and it all complies with our insurance, and all the boring businessy stuff, we're happy to have people come in and do stuff like this if necessary, or we'll do it for you and just charge an hourly rate and say, hey, we'll process down what we can, and it's if we can help, we'll help. If we make a few bucks out of it, fine. But hand cutting that, I'm very interested in bog oak. I love that stuff. So drop us an email. Neil Yelks. Spray matte clear on a maple board, no finishing required. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, Bob Hewitt says, barbecue? Where? This was at Crimson a couple of days ago. If you have the ability to time travel, give us a shout. Okay, we're running down. I think that we're coming to the end of the questions. Uriel Sage says that he was talking with Joe Brown. Would you rather have to change your name to Poppy McPoopface for a year or not be allowed to use wood in any builds for a year? Oh. I mean, I like a challenge. Poopy McPoopface, I get called that almost daily anyway. So, I mean, I'm fine with that. But the challenge of not using wood... Hold on. In any builds for a year. Okay, fine. I could use wood for anything else except guitar builds, and that's fine. As long as I get to use my planes and wood in something not a guitar build, I will go with that and spend a year exploring new materials and techniques and things like that. I think that would be fun. So, great question there. Okay, Craig Manson woke up this morning, turned on my tablet, and YouTube told me the stream was live. Good morning. Good morning. Uriel Sage is talking to Joe Brown about using, I think, a make space, something like that. He says, I've been using one in my town and it's been a game changer. Full paint booth, all jet and Festool, everything. 20-inch planer, drum sound, a 12-inch joint is really great. If I had had access to something like that, if I had access to something like that, I would be a much better builder now. I used the most inexpensive tools imaginable for my first 10, 15 years building. And everything was on a budget and always on a budget. You can't afford new router cutters. We've still got router cutters at Crimson hanging around that I've had for 20 years. And yeah, anyway. Creever says, should I bring beer to the next barbecue? Damn straight you should. Another question here, not sure who from, says, what things should I consider when inlaying/gluing a custom plexiglass scratch plate into a guitar body? Inlaying/gluing a custom plexiglass scratch plate onto a guitar body. Okay, pretty much the same as routing out control covers, except I'll have to make the templates. You having to make boring templates. Green pukey face emoji. Okay, gluing a clear plexiglass into wood is, you will see the glue and it'll be like water under ice or bubbles under ice. There we go, something like that. It's not necessarily going to be attractive if you have to glue it in. That's the only thing that comes to mind. Other than that, it's just inlay and making templates. Yay. Well, that's pretty. Okay. Give me questions. Okay. By the way, my name is now Poopy McPoopyface. Jeff's Guitar says he's here because of Discord. Bob Hewitt saw the Instagram message. Robert R. just caught it by accident. That Guitar Dude guy, I love your name, saw the YouTube post. That's good. Neil Yelks was watching the other live stream when I was talking about moving it over. That's good. I think about half of the normal people are here, but the half that are here are the better half anyway. So we're all good. Those other guys they'll catch on. Stop insulting your fans, man. Okay. Lepidoptera Lady says, I've just switched careers to middle school teacher. In a couple of years, I'm going to do the Crimson School as my summer holiday. That is the perfect job to have if you want to be a builder. There is work. We all know that teachers do work in the holiday times and they have prep to do. And, while they technically supposedly finish at 2:30 or 3, they do have other stuff to do in the evenings, and it is a full-time job and all that. And in fact is pretty damn thankless for the most part. And you've got to deal with arsehole parents and arsehole kids and all of that jazz. But a summer holiday. A summer holiday to come and build guitars at Crimson. Bring it on. I'm looking forward to it. And Lepidoptera lady, I'm very interested in your name as well. I used to collect back before I had empathy and didn't mind killing things. I used to collect butterflies and moths and things like that. So one of the highlights of my youth was when I actually managed to catch a death's head hawk moth in the wild, and then I killed the poor thing. I feel bad now. Anyhow, so yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Electric Lady Guitars Devon UK just arrived. What have I missed? Not too much really. Lots of questions. You're gonna have to go back and do that. But yeah, I think this has been a successful stream so far. Neil Yelks has told me how to pronounce his name, which is good, because I do find that quite important. Okay, Go to 11 says, thanks Ben, I will give the wipe on a go on a flame maple board. I've been putting off because I wasn't sure. Also, did you see that video of the mad sanding robot finishing a guitar yet? I haven't, although a bunch of people have sent me comments asking if I would race it, basically. But the link was dead, so, and I hadn't Googled it. So, yeah, my bad. Jake asks, Ben, I'm going to try putting a 1/8 inch thick flamed maple piece on top of a Squire Strat I'm modifying. Should I put a relief cut to shape the arm contour? Okay. It very much depends on the wood. If you... So where the arm contour wants to bend, if you make lots of cuts across the whole thing, then essentially, and you go say it's 1/8 of an inch thick, leave it so that you cut and leave only 1 millimeter, for example, then it will make the whole thing much easier to bend. But it does depend. For example, sycamore is softer than maple, and big leaf maple is softer than rock maple. And those ones, with a little bit of hot water, or a lot of hot water, and some judicious clamping, you should be able to bend it to that shape without, any relief cuts whatsoever. So, yeah, let the wood tell you what needs to happen rather than some random be-tattooed fat dude on YouTube. Okay, Adam Bartram says, Ben, any recommendations for learning how to film a build? I'm thinking about GGBO 2022. We did do a... Right at the beginning of GGBO 21, Talitha and I put together... I spoke to camera, Talitha gave me the script. We did put together a video talking about a lot of that. So seriously check that out. Long term, we are also at Crimson Guitars planning on doing a professional... I don't even know what I'm going to call it. We currently have 5-day guitar building courses, 6-day guitar building courses. We've got kit guitar building courses. We've got 2-week guitar building courses if you want. You can do even, tack a couple together and do random numbers if you want to do a really crazy build. You can do a 3-month guitar building course where you build 3, maybe even 4 or 5 guitars, depending on what you want to do. What I want to do is add another option, adding on another 2 or even 3 months to the 3-month guitar building course, where we will teach you CNC manufacturing. We will teach you the drawing involved in CNCs. We will show you laser cutting. We will talk to you about the business of being in business, how we use social media and what we do in particular, and what we've learned over the years through social media, through advertising, how to use Google Ads effectively to set up a business, how to deal with difficult customers, how to deal with difficult staff should you have that issue. All of these things are things that we want to teach, and it will be for people who really want to be in business as guitar builders, or, Anyway, that doesn't really answer your question. Part of that is also going to be, here's how you take a good photograph. Here's how you shoot a good video. Here's the expensive professional software that we use. Here is the $15 a month licensed video software that you really get. Lightworks is a thing which is about that. In fact, there's a free version, I think. And it's used to make full-on professional movies. You can use that. There are people who use just the software on their phones. So we'll teach all of this sort of stuff. But for now, to answer your question versus GGBO, there is a video we put out. And then also crazy Canadian photographer, videographer with millions of subscribers, whose name I've completely forgotten. Go and check him out. Okay. Whew. A bunch of people saying that they're up for the next barbecue at Crimson. At Poopy McPoopface. At Poopy McPoopyface, lol. It's from Tutankhamun. Okay. SE Guitar says that'd be a cool idea for the courses. DaVinci Resolve, the free version is amazing and will cover all your needs. Yes. I have used Resolve myself, actually. So there we go. Okay. I'm going to call this a... Alan Dobson says, I'm here because I'm a hardcore Crimson Guitars fan. I like that. Into the mosh pit. Ivan Wizard, Bog Oak Beans Oak. Well, if I get the placement I asked you about from my cottage to Crimson that I have played Ricky about, I'll bring over what I can. I actually hadn't heard about that. This is the beautiful thing about having people as competent as Ricky and Sam and Tom. It's that I don't need to know every little bit that's happening, but that makes me smile. I will ask him about it tomorrow. Okay, everybody, I want to say thank you very much. We have reached a natural end for this. It has been an hour and a half plus, and we've gone down from around about 100 viewers to about 90 now. So whoever's literally just joined, I'm going to say goodbye to. Oh, there we go. He's gone again. So there we go. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming over to the wilds that is the Crimson Guitars Extras channel. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do that. And we are going to be looking into setting up memberships on this channel rather than the main channel, so you can move over if you want to have your name all, which I think is actually one of the best perks of the memberships thing, personally anyway. All is change, but it's all good. What's coming up next? I need to finish Nebula. We have got the Builder's Choice Awards for the Great Guitar Build of 21. And very soon, the form for joining the GGBO 22 is going to be up on that website. It's all coming together. But as of now, Neil Yelks says, and you still pronounced it wrong. Lol. Yelks like a Y. Anyhow. Now I feel bad. Thank you very much. Everybody, have a fantastic evening. I'll speak to you soon. Go make some sawdust. Be cool. Have a good week. Goodbye.